Welcome back to Lariat TV News. I'm Claire Goodyear, and today we show you an inside look on Baylor tour guides.
And the importance of health safety near campus. I'm Irma Peña.
Between classes, jobs, and involvements, many college students don't have time to think about their own safety. I'll show you why keeping your home safe should be a priority. Home security isn't most college students' primary focus, but some recent events in Waco might change that.
One night at about 11:15, our alarm goes off, and we thought it was one of our roommates, so we didn't turn it off. And then about a minute later, we went to go turn it off, and we noticed that the door was wide open. That is not normal. Our door was locked. And so then we called the police.
Because the house had limited surveillance, police were not able to identify the person attempting to break in.
We checked the cameras, and there was nobody. It turns out that they hopped the fence, so we were unable to catch them on the camera.
Unsure of what to do in the situation, the residents of the home barricaded themselves in a room until the police arrived.
It's super dark outside. I'm not from here, so I had no clue what to do. And I was just terrified because I went and locked the door, but also there could have been someone still in the house.
It's not just the houses. Some Baylor students have also had their cars broken into as well.
I've heard from my roommate and other roommates and just friends that it's been happening to others as well. It's definitely scary, and we don't want it to happen. So what we did is we bought some cameras and stuff, put those up to kind of watch and make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Since the recent events, some residents have stepped up their security.
We added new security cameras outside, so now every space in our property is covered in security cameras. And we also have an automatic lock now on our back door.
We even have a door lock that you can unlock it with your phone, and it will automatically relock. And that's honestly been huge.
Some students even utilize these door jams, making the door impossible to open from the outside. For Lariat TV News, I'm Claire Goodyear.
Being a tour guide on campus is a full-time job, but they love the work they do. LTVN's Gracie Savage has an inside look on the team.
I'm here outside of the Mark and Paula Hurd Welcome Center, where the tour guides are located here on campus. Let's take a look into what they do on a day-to-day basis.
I strongly believe that being a bear is the best job on campus.
Baylor Tour Guides, or BEARS, which stands for Baylor Experience and Admission Representatives, take pride in what they do. We see them out on campus giving tours to prospective students every day, but they said that the bulk of their job is done behind the scenes.
The majority of the work happens here in the Hurd on computers with answering files, phone calls, emails, as well as working the front desk here, being greeters in Carlton Hall, that main lobby here in the Welcome Center.
Part of their job is trying their best to meet every need that a prospective student wants for their visit. When the student signs up for a tour, they list all the information they want answered during their time here. And the tour guides have to set that up, which isn't always easy.
Those might include department appointments, in which we have to contact those specific departments to see if they can meet with the students on their assigned day, because sometimes the availability doesn't line up.
Due to their extensive time spent together, the tour guides have a strong bond. They said that the work environment is fantastic and they're all best friends.
No one's cliquey, I don't think, inside of our office, which is fantastic. Everyone's very open to meet one another. And so I've definitely met some of my best friends here in the office, got connected with some great groups.
Tour guides are also full-time students here at Baylor, and balancing both workloads can be a lot. But they said that their amazing supervisors make sure they aren't too overwhelmed.
That make sure that whatever schedule that we want can fit how our classes work. So I can walk over here after class. I can schedule a shift in between classes. It's very easy to get to the Welcome Center. It's very easy to work with the supervisors on our schedules.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Gracie Savage.
There's a new library on campus, and it's pink. The Circle of Sisterhood Library is a new addition to the Stacy Riddle Forum, and people can bring or borrow books. Baylor's Panhellenic Council partnered with the Circle of Sisterhood, a nonprofit for sororities, to break down barriers women face towards getting an education. Donating and borrowing from the Little Library is free for all, making reading more accessible for students.
It's just something fun and a daily reminder to read and all the awesome, wonderful accessibility that we have to books, but it's just a reminder of the education that we have and the privilege it is to be educated.
It's the Renaissance of Deans here at Baylor, and LTVN's Lauren Holcomb tells us who's coming and going this year.
Two new deans joined the Baylor leadership staff this semester. The law school appointed Jeremy Counselor, who has been on staff for 21 years. After a long search process, he began his deanship in July.
He competed for this position with numerous external candidates, but it was very clear in the search process that he was the right guy. And so we're very excited to have him on board to lead the law school.
Along with the law school, the School of Music welcomed Kevin Sanders from the University of Memphis as their new dean. Sanders was integral in opening a new performing arts center in Memphis, and Dr. Brickhouse says they're excited to see what he does here at Baylor. Now, along with these two new deans, the renaissance continues as graduate student dean Larry Lyon retires, but a search committee is actively looking for his replacement as we speak.
1 in 4 students at Baylor today is a graduate student. Dean Shannon Hagenberg in the School of Education is leading a group to search for a new dean for the graduate school.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Lauren Holcomb.
The Brick, Baylor's Research and Innovation Collaborative building along Highway 77, has a new creative outlet for students. Baylor Libraries has partnered with the Office of Innovation and Economic Development to create this space for larger scale projects. This brand new innovation garage offers a variety of making tools, yet the access to this space is limited. To use this space, you have to submit an application located on the University Library's website, and remember, anyone can apply.
We want anyone and everyone. So one thing I'm really passionate about over in the Moody Maker space is that the more different disciplines and perspectives we get using the space together, the more creative the projects are that come out of it.
Next, a previous Disney star visited Baylor.
And we give you a special look at Baylor's first mariachi band. Keep it here.
Dust your boots off, Waco, and come to the one and only Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo presented by HEB at the Extraco Event Center. The fair fun begins October 3rd through 13th, and this year's One Hot Rodeo presented by Ag Trust Farm Credit will have some of the bravest rodeo cowboys and cowgirls we've ever seen. Professional bull riding, calf roping, barrel racing, mutton busting buckaroos, and much more. Gear up for the rowdiest rodeo in town. Get your tickets at hotfair.com today. See y'all there.
Baylor's Turning Point USA hosted former Disney star Lee Allen Baker, or Amy Duncan, this week. Marissa Muniz has the details.
If you grew up watching Disney Channel, you might recognize Lee Allen Baker from the hit show Good Luck Charlie. This week, the former actress came and spoke to Baylor students about her journey as a Christian in Hollywood and her strong belief of freedom of speech. Back in 2021, Baker faced cancel culture for the first time when speaking out against mask mandates. She then moved from Hollywood and began to take a public stand. Baylor's Turning Point USA hosted Baker on Tuesday with hopes to connect with our generation.
I feel a connection to you just as you do to me. And I tell you this because people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.
Throughout Baker's career, she has sought guidance through her faith and feels speaking up for constitutional rights is what she's recently been called to do. Baker encouraged students to not be afraid to speak out for what they believe in, even if it means losing friendships.
Friends that I had for years stopped speaking to me. No Christmas card, no birthday wishes to my children. Guess what? God was clear in the deck so that I had room for real friendships to grow.
Over 380 students attended to see the former Disney star, but many came back with various takeaways.
And I was just thinking, like, wow, it's so cool that, like, you know, there's people out there in Hollywood that, like, are Christians, and she came here to make a difference. Like, she's no longer a part of Hollywood. She's, like, doing her own thing, like, following what the Lord has for her. And so I feel like that's what drew me here, because I wanted to hear her story.
For Lariat TV News, I'm Marissa Muniz.
It's Hispanic Heritage Month, and today we highlight the first mariachi group at Baylor. LTVN's Irma Pena has the details.
The Mariachi Osos Dorados celebrate Hispanic heritage when performing traditional mariachi music. By sharing their music with the Baylor community, they try to include students from different backgrounds and celebrate their roots.
And I think that's something really, really special, because it shows you that mariachi and the Hispanic culture is not only for Hispanics, it's for everybody to enjoy and to embrace. You know, there's always a place for everybody.
If you're a student who is interested in learning mariachi music and know how to play an instrument, you can audition for this group.
The history of this university has never had a mariachi group, and so I think we represent what the missing piece in this university, and we love how much people have embraced it and how much people love it.
As the university's first mariachi group, they feel grateful for how the public has opened their hearts, showing interest and appreciation of this music. For Lariat TV News, I'm Irma Peña. American artist William Downs' new exhibit, Truth and Body, is on display at the Martin Museum of Art. Downs was inspired by Baylor's campus when working on the mural, and he used unique techniques to create a deeper message. Streamers hanging from the mural represented a place in space, and the dark figures resemble caretakers in today's world.
So there's a lot of symbolism in his painting. So I think there's something special in each one.
All musicians around campus were called to the sub by the Music Industry Club. They hosted auditions for Battle of the Bands earlier this week, where bands will compete in front of a panel of judges. 6 bands signed up to audition in front of the Music Industry Executive Board, and we spoke with the co-president of the club, who said this event is like no other.
It was such a beloved tradition to celebrate student artists and people who don't just work on their academics but also want to pursue music and pursue a career outside of just their major.
Check out music.industry.club on Instagram for more information about Battle of the Bands.
A new club involving baking and eating homemade sourdough bread sparks interest among Baylor students. Maya Duloc has the story.
A freshman resident of the Honors College started his own bread baking club in hopes to build community. After craving homemade sourdough bread, a freshman student decided to bring his home tradition to Baylor. However, he could not do all the work himself.
Realizing just how much work it takes to make sourdough bread, I enlisted a bunch of help, and then we wanted to get it as big as possible to help build community within the Honors Residential College.
This past month, students in the club began numerous sourdough starters before being able to bake their first loaves.
We have 24 different sourdough starters that we feed each night and mix it up and make some things out of like the discard growth.
Members of the Bears Breaking Bread found this organization to be an opportunity to grow their baking skills by learning how to knead dough and scoring designs on the loaves.
So I had never made sourdough bread before, but I did enjoy cooking and baking, so I figured it would be a great opportunity to get to know some people in my dorm while doing something I enjoy.
Building community within the Honors Residential College has become a priority for some of the members.
Yep, I want to be able to build community, and that is something that the organization has definitely been able to do.
Holden strives to continue and grow his club to other residential colleges on campus. For Lariat TV News, I'm Maya Duloc.
The Baylor Theater crew works tirelessly when preparing for opening night. However, most of the action happens backstage. The crew team includes costume designers, run crew, lights, and sound technicians, building the set, and the crafts team. During the show, the run crew helps the actors with quick changes, communicating with the tech booth, moving props, and other tasks. Unlike the actors on stage, the crew is not visible to the audience, therefore most of their hard work goes unseen.
And that's not even including the design team who has spent months and months coming up with ideas for the show and physically building the set and getting everything ready. So yeah, run crew is what makes the shows happen.
The opening night of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street, is October 2nd, running to mid-October. Up next, we preview Baylor's bout with BYU.
And baseball had its first fall practice. Stay tuned.
I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. I'll never get used to this. This is how I wanna live. This is how I wanna live. Forever we'll be singing like, oh, I'll never get used to this.
Baylor football looks to rebound this week following a crushing overtime loss to Colorado. The Bears will face another tough challenge as they take on the 22nd ranked BYU Cougars for their second conference game. The 4-0 Cougars are red hot, defeating then 13th ranked Kansas State last week. BYU quarterback redshirt junior Jake Retzloff has thrown for 990 yards and 9 touchdowns. Baylor will be tested as BYU averages 32.8 points per game, allowing only 12.8. The last meeting between Baylor and BYU was in 2022, and it ended in an overtime thriller with BYU coming out on top 26-20. Saturday's matchup will be Baylor and BYU's 5th meeting, and kickoff is set for 11 a.m. at McLean Stadium.
The O-line is the deal that sticks out the most to me, is that they're a veteran group and they played a lot together, and it shows on tape. It's going to test us. And so, yeah, it's going to be a battle. I think it'd be a good game to take in. We're looking to play our best.
Volleyball continued their homestand on Wednesday, welcoming a Big 12 foe for the conference opener. Braden Murray has the story.
Number 19, Baylor Volleyball opened Big 12 play with an impressive win over previously undefeated number 14 Arizona, winning in 4 sets. The Bears won the first set handily, outscoring the Wildcats 25-18. Baylor's first point of the match came by way of a challenge. In total, there were 6 for the match, 4 from Baylor and 2 from Arizona. All of the calls were overturned.
And what a whole different match it could have been, because like I said, we probably had 8 challenges, so that's a swing of 8 that can go different ways. So I thought overall officials, great job, and the challenge review system did its job, and it takes the animosity out.
Set 2 was a nail-biter, and neither team ever led by more than 2 points. The score was tied 17 times, but in the end, Baylor won 25-23. Set 3 went the way of the Wildcats, who 1 point went on a 10-point run and won 25-16, forcing the 4th set.
Hard to pull ourselves back out, and so we went into the 4th set saying, like, we're not going to happen. Like, we're not going to let them have, we talk about runs of 3, and so we're not going to let them have a run of 3. We're going to shut it down side out, and just making sure we're really intentional with our touches and putting ourselves in the best position to eliminate those runs going forward.
Baylor took the 4th set in convincing fashion, winning 25-17. By the end of the match, Jackie Barrett Frazier had racked up 42 assists, which is a match high, while also contributing 10 kills.
Just to be offensive, and then the courage and the confidence that I have at the end there to just go for it. That's something that we practice all the time, and it's nice when your hitters are putting balls down, so middle and their block is all just afraid of the pins, and it leaves me a little bit more open there. So
the Bears will be back in action on Saturday, playing number 14 Arizona State at the Farrell Center. For Lariat TV News, I'm Braden Murray.
Baseball began intra-squad scrimmages this week as they prepare for the upcoming season. Last season, Baylor went 22-31 with a 10-20 conference record and 11th in the Big 12. Enzo Apodaca led the team in batting average and had 70 hits with 46 runs scored, and Wesley Jordan led with 9 home runs. The Bears lost a key figure on the mound, Mason Marriott, who was drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks in the 6th round this summer. This past weekend, women's golf finished 10th at the Mason Rudolph Championship. Sarah Hasegawa led the Bears shooting a 5-under 211, finishing in a tie for 18th place in the individual category. Celia Oma led the tournament with a par 4 scoring average of 3.77 strokes per hole. Texas took home first place at 31 under par, with South Carolina and Northwestern finishing a close 2nd and 3rd. Even though the Bears finished 10th at 8 under par, they were able to lead the tournament with 65 birdies.
The ability to make birdies is going to really help out our team for the rest of the year, and I think it's very cool that we can go out there and do that. We actually had a lot more birdies than the team that won, University of Texas.
Baylor plays next at the White Sands Aggie Invitational in Paradise Islands, Bahamas on October 18th. The women's tennis season began last weekend, hosting the HEB tournament. Here's the details.
Baylor women's tennis kicked off the 2024 fall season, competing in the 10-team HEB tournament over the weekend.
Day 1 of the tournament concluded with the Bears winning 3 out of 7 doubles matches against Nebraska, Colorado, and UTSA. The Bears found success in singles, going 4 for 7 to build momentum heading into Day 2 of matches.
It was a great weekend of tennis. There was a lot of tennis, challenging conditions with the heat. But I felt like the players handled it very well. They learned a lot.
The athletes braved the heat on Day 2, and the Bears went 2-3 in doubles, defeating their UTSA and Arizona opponents. Junior Candy Gibbs and freshman Nanaka Soto both picked up their first wins in the green and gold as the Bears won 3 out of their 7 singles matches Saturday.
Everyone fought hard and everyone tried their best, even though temperature was really high. This tournament, conditions were crazy.
The tournament concluded Sunday as freshman Wenfei Yu got her 3rd singles win of the tournament. Baylor's Nanaka Soto and Lubov Koskenko also came away with wins for the Bears to close out the tournament.
Wenfei Yu She, for her first college event, to play as strong as she did in singles and doubles is a really good sign. Not easy to do as a freshman, so, just proud of the direction she's heading.
The Baylor women's tennis team will look to carry over their successes as they prepare for the ITA Texas Regional Championship, which begins October 10th. For Lariat TV News, I'm Aiden Pham.
For now, that wraps up sports, but stay tuned for the Lariat's coverage of Baylor versus BYU. Back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Aiden. And it's not just sports. We'll bring you the news you need to know around campus and Waco.
Until we see you again, have a great week. And as always, sick 'em Bears.